Let me start this video off with I appreciate each and every one of you who has subscribed and tuned into my videos. If you haven't yet and you do enjoy the video, let me know by liking and subscribing. But today we're going to talk about Tower of God episode 2. My questions in regards to this episode are the following. Who is Khun and what is an irregular? If you haven't checked out the first video on Tower of God episode 1, it should be on the screen in the corner and I'll have it in the description. I do have to say I am really enjoying this show. They're still taking the mysterious approach and honestly it's working. It's a wonderful approach to the world building and learning about new characters. We are watching the show basically through Bam's eyes. If there's something he doesn't know, we won't know it either, giving us a very authentic way of learning about the world and the characters. Yes, most of it is delivered through exposition, but as I said, Bam doesn't know anything either, and he's learning. As he asks questions, people answer them so that both we and Bam are learning of what's going on. The episode, of course, starts off where the last one ended, and one of the first things we get to see is some more development for Khun. Khun is still mysterious to me, and anyone watching the show without reading the webtoon. We get to see that he is smart and cunning, and has some kind of interest in Bam due to the weapon that he holds. One thing that I did pick up here is how bad Khun wants to deviate from the rules. At this point, he doesn't seem to be an irregular like Bam because he actually knows what's going on. But there has been a severe focus on Khun and not following the rules as he keeps repeating it. I suspect that he has a greater scheme at hand, but we will talk about a certain warning later. This episode in general seems to focus on relationship building, specifically with Khun, while also partially introducing new characters. While looking into the rule-breaking statement, one thing we can notate is the similarity of Bam, Rock, and Khun. They all have a disregard for the rules, and it's kind of what brought them together. Albeit Bam doesn't have disregard for the rules out of sheer spite, he just doesn't know them. And Rock is more focused on hunting strong opponents than he is about the rules. We obviously get to see this when he continues to attack Bam after the battle royale has ended. This episode, we are introduced to Anak and Hots, who just raise more questions as they're both incredibly strong and wield weapons with the same symbol on it as Bam. Are they royalty, or were their weapons given to them like Bam's weapon? Oh, and we were introduced to Shibusu. He doesn't seem to have much importance at the moment besides comedic relief. I'd like to mention that Rock is my favorite character so far. He just has so much personality, and it's hard not to laugh or crack a smile when he's just interacting with, well, anything, honestly. We are also introduced to the test administrator, Irregular, who gives me major Hisoka vibes, but a little less insane. From the information we are given, we can basically deduce that he's extremely strong and even he can't help but be interested in Bam. And with that, we are also shown Sensu, which is the source of the tower's power. It essentially seems to be magic, but I feel like it's got some very strange rules to it. We get to see Bam's second strange feat so far, which is being the only one that wasn't pushed back by the Sensu. Bam may be extremely strong, and we just haven't seen it yet, but I feel that this has more to do with him being an irregular. Maybe those who are irregulars are somehow invulnerable to the effects of the Shinsu? Only time will tell, as we wait another blistering week for episode 3 to come out. With that being said, Liro does elaborate on what an irregular is, and that's why I'm sticking with my theory. An irregular is one who does not follow the rules of the tower. Therefore, it is possible that because he doesn't follow the rules of the tower, then Shinsu may not affect him. This also gives more credit to Khun not being an irregular, since he was affected by the Shinsu. Maybe he just has a thing for not following the rules. We also learn that what makes someone irregular is not being born within the tower. Is it often that people from outside world can get to the tower, and how many know about it? How did Rachel know about it? So many questions with so little answers. But here comes that warning from earlier. As Liro is about to leave, he says his farewell to Bam and leaves him with one warning.
それと
So I ask again, who is Khun? Why does Lero warn Bam about him? And why did Khun's briefcase get stuck in the Shinsu as he's going through? What does he have in there that would stop it? I have a few ideas. Maybe it's a tiny being? So far, we've only seen that people can't pass through it, as well as seeing many different species. So it may be possible to have tiny people. The other idea is that it is something regular. If the initial theory is that Bam wasn't affected by the Shinsu because he is irregular, you would assume that the opposite would of course be affected. That idea holds a little less weight because essentially everyone that passed through already is irregular. Just to let you know, please do not answer my questions in the comments. I am trying to go through this blind with no spoilers. The questions being asked are rhetorical for those who have read the webtoon, and an honest question for those who are watching along with me. For those who are watching along with me, please feel free to share your ideas and theories as to what's going on in the comments. But with that is the end of the episode. Some of our questions from the first episode were answered, but we were just given more questions to replace those. It's a 1 step forward, 2 steps back scenario. I have to say though, that it works, and I am here for it. This show has my attention, and I can't wait for episode 3.